A game 3 years in the making has finally hit screens across the world. The anticipation of many Call of Duty fans has been electric as the world welcomes Black Ops 6. My name is Connie, caster for 3 great years here in Call of Duty, and joining me to close out the cast off is a fighting game specialist. This man has casted over 30 live events, travelled the world over the last 2 years, delivering moment after moment for the fighting game community, and today he makes his Call of Duty debut. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mr. George Lentini.
Connie, it is an absolute pleasure to be here on the mic with someone of your caliber. I'm so excited to see how the energy is going to transfer. I've heard so many stories about the Call of Duty mindset, the electricity of what it's like to be part of this community. And what better way to do that than with the cast off that we see on the screen right here. Look at all these beautiful faces, not a single closed mouth to be seen, except maybe mine in the corner. So if you want to vote for your favorites on this, of course, exclamation point vote in the chat. This is the last block of the day, deciding who is going to be coming back tomorrow for the finals.
10 casters have gone through the ringer, and now we're down to our final 2. And just to sort of point out the picture there, I'm actually talking to my co-caster George Lentini live from 6 months ago, so that really is foreshadowing some high expectations for today's cast.
Unfortunately, it looks like I'm not listening, but hey, what you gonna do?
George, I mean, welcome to Call of Duty first and foremost. I mean, it is quite a jump coming from fighting games over to a completely different genre of esport. Arena shooters, though, as me and you have spoken about the last couple of days, have been at least one that you've held a kindred eye to, and at least enjoyed the community and what it can bring.
Yeah, I'm so excited about it. And one of the particular things I'm excited to see is the way you guys incorporate movement into the game. Because I've looked at Call of Duty at a more casual perspective, like, okay, you can slide cancel a little bit. There's some stuff you could do. But then I look at the pro stuff, especially the stuff we got to talk about later with the new Omni movement. And it is just groundbreaking, the change of how that has altered my perspective of what a movement arena shooter can be.
And we have to, of course, give credit, George, to the event, and a special shout out to the team over in Columbus, Ohio. The game's only 8 days old, and they're already running events. So it goes to show you just how strong the community is and how quick they are to turn and put on an event. $6,000 on the line, concluding for you all tomorrow. It really is already setting out to be quite a large, high-stakes poker game, if you will, of a Call of Duty event.
Yeah, huge shout out to the whole team behind this. And of course, shout out to the sponsors who make this all possible. I think we're talking about the cast off specifically. We've got Family Ties making this all possible, supporting the cast off, giving us this opportunity to have this crossover that we're talking about. So definitely check these guys out on Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. I know they do all sorts of content out there. So if you want to see what they've got to offer, there's the links on the screen for you.
And what's special that Family Ties have done is just allowing this event to continue yearly. I mean, it's been going on for a while, but the ability to have debutants like myself and yourself to actually come on and showcase our skills against 10 other people is really what kind of grows us as casters and really develops our nature on camera. Just to really connect with everyone at home, this match is Crown Crusaders and Coastal Gaming. And one thing to mention beforehand from the previous MW3 season, Crown Crusaders are a flagship roster competing across Tier 2 and the local LAN circuits. Coastal Gaming coming in as relative underdogs, but there are at least a new iteration of the Crown Crusaders roster here where the players from last year are not coming over on the brand this year, and it might be a very head-to-head matchup in that lower bracket.
Yeah, that's always a very exciting switch when you've got people coming in who are new to a roster versus the people who have been on a roster for a long time, and how that affects the strategy. Have you been able to come up with those more deep strategic understandings so that you can transfer them into a new game rapidly? Do you have that kind of mind melded connection with your co-caster? And here we see our map pool as well coming up of what we're going to be working with today. We got some red card, rewind, skyline, protocol, and then we loop it right back around into red card for our game number 5.
It's been very nutritional for everyone at home and us in the booth to understand the new map pools and the new maps that everyone's playing. There is 6 in total across Hardpoint and S&D. Control currently is asleep for now. It's in hibernation until the devs decide to patch it. So we have got 3 Hardpoints on display for you all today. And I have to say, a few favorites of mine, at least Red Card, Skyline, and Rewind, seem to flow very well in at least Hardpoint and Search and Destroy, particularly Rewind, if we were to mention just an eye test look at the pool. And even Vorkuta that we saw in the last series with Matt, I have to say, actually feels very, very good on certain hard points.
Yeah, we've definitely been seeing a lot of the same maps showing up repeatedly throughout this LAN. You can tell which ones the players are more comfortable with, where they feel like their strategies are going to thrive. One thing that we are definitely seeing, though, is that a lot of the maps tend to be a bit on the smaller side this time around, which can mean more scrappy gunfights, things like your search and destroy. You may have to take those more active, aggressive positions as opposed to the slower pace you may be used to from, say, Modern Warfare 3.
Yes, and that is a stark change in contrast. But one thing that has to be adjusted, at least, is what the calls are going to look like for the players in the lobby. With smaller maps, you tend to have more reactive calling and more twitchiness, sprinting off spawn, making simple mistakes. I mean, for a game that's only 8 days old, more common than ever, and it's perfectly fine because you can still turn it into a positive situation at the end. But it's interesting to see just how the players themselves will integrate into a much faster feel of Call of Duty than what they're originally against. And George, listen, we've got the map flyovers, and I know you love a good game.
I am loving these map flyovers. Huge shout out to the production team getting us a great top-down view starting out there. You can see why it's called Red Card. We got the Sports Illustrated illustrating to us exactly what's going on. You can run through the halls, root for your favorite team while you're shooting at them at the same time. Super excited to see how that's going to interact with the map.
And as well, this week's patch update, just to mention to you all at home, Nuketown 24/7, double XP weekend. If you want to get your camos, grind them out, please do. But for now, 4v4, Coastal Gaming, Crown Crusaders, kicking it off with a very, very fast break-off and what looks to be a barn burner series, which you would only see once in a blue moon.
Talking about that fast break-off. We're mentioning before, the name of the game with who can get to that hard point first, and the first blood goes to Coastal Dexterities, closing it out to get that early control.
Split spawns already happening. Crown Crusaders lost 2 players on the north side of the map. Now they're actually behind Coastal Gaming. Let's see how they read the pressure. As Coastal Gaming, nice kill feed to start things off, but at least the gunfights and the head-to-head situations will be crucial in this first hill. 16 seconds go their way, and already proactively they're starting to look towards P2.
And we see players like Bowie and Dexterities on the side as well, trying to maneuver around, not making it obvious where they are, looking for these kills, managed to get some control of the hard point again, and we are just scrapping back and forth. The bodies are flying right now.
Yeah, Coastal Gaming still building off to a strong start, but that second hill is all yellow. Crown Crusaders now taking heavy fights in open space to try and control the easiest path for Coastal Gaming to break onto the hill.
And there Bowie is again. They are closing in. They are tightening up this control that they have of this second hill, making it so much harder for Crown Crusaders to find their way in. They're all locked on one side. Can they break through, or is this going to be an uncontested hill for Coastal?
Still, very impressive head-to-head fights from Crown Crusaders, but Coastal are just hiding in corners and soaking up time. Doesn't matter if it's a contest, because the kills they get on the rotation is so key so far that it actually is opening up a free 10 seconds uncontested. So they're just soaking up time gradually and playing the fights head-to-head where Crown Crusaders are not looking at the objective.
Or watch out for Prod coming in from the other side. Everybody's opting towards Striker and Desi. They do get those kills, but Prod comes in from the other side. Is he able to close it out? There's the one, but no, he gets traded.
Nice to see now, a new hill, north side of the map, a foot race between Electric, AIM, and JT. But still, Crown Crusaders are finding huge openings to actually stop the push. But hang on, Coastal, they've actually got split spawns. This is fantastic because now the hill is going to be fought from 2 angles for Coastal.
And Electric, living up to the namesake of that AIM, able to get a little bit of momentum for the team, but drops in the end. And now a very contested hard point. Who's going to be able to close it out here? It looks like it's going to be Coastal with the early control, but so many bodies running in. We see Prod trying to find a way up these stairs.
Coastal putting down trophies, don't want any utility thrown onto this hill. We know just how close quarters it can be, and the submachine guns might have an impact. Though right now, Striker's laying prone. He reads the push from Coastal Gaming, but no teammates there to support just yet, as now we see it flood yellow.
And we finally had an opportunity for Crusaders to get on the hard point, but as soon as they do, players like Ginger coming in, getting in these tight situations, setting up the trophies, locking down their control, making it so hard to break through. And you can see Dex just holding down that sight line, rotating around, making sure there's nowhere to close in.
JT, first on the new hill. Crown Crusaders actually pushed so far away from new. It's wonderful teamwork from Coastal Gaming to employ some great systems early on and just extend this 70-point lead. It feels now that Crown Crusaders needs to have some sign of inspiration, George. They're really lackluster so far.
Ginger working towards that streak as well. Got 3 on the board. Can you make it enough? That is the kind of big power play that we need to push this over the edge. Meanwhile, Crusaders struggling to get anything, all of their players other than Prod on that negative KD right now.
Nice little round back, but Striker efforts in vain. It still feels though Coastal Gaming are sticking to their, set game plan. Just soak hill, 2 at least, and at all times. This is a key pattern to identify, and just why Coastal Gaming have so many contests, yet the time has gone their way.
Speaking of contests, this is an opportunity. The contest is successful as Crown sets up again, but once again, Dexterity, he is there. Electric is there as well. They are going back and forth, trying to lock down. I was talking about that kill streak, but he just slides right into the DMs as JT pushes in, takes control.
Southside spawns for Crown Crusaders, although it's a pink hill. Look at the pressure. It's not a clear read, and it's a wonderful retake. A big path from JT's the only hope for Coastal Gaming to hit this hill.
I'm loving Electric's positioning as well. Always finding these weird off angles. The downside, of course, being that it may take a little longer to get there. But who needs that when you've got 4 in a row from JT? Electric answering back the other way, closing it down, but back and forth once again. Dexterity with the kill, Desi with the kill, Valley with the kill, Striker with the double kill.
Nice, but look at the end of it right there, George. We're starting to see proactive calls from Crown Crusaders. They want the head-to-head fights. Their confidence hasn't been there at the start of first set rotations, but now they're starting to think, yeah, no, the long routes are working. Let's keep them going and hold a flash, ready for a brand new opportunity to take a hill.
And right now, we're finally seeing an opportunity for Crown. It may be short-lived, but they were able to get some points on the board. With this rotation, though, immediately JT is ready for whatever comes next.
Interesting route. JT almost playing well on the outside because there's another deep route. There again, Crown Crusaders are starting to bunker up. This is a reactive call in response to Coastal Gaming. They are very nervous to go in the one-to-one gunfights, and it can clear on the map as day to see now that they're in a position where Coastal Gaming have control of the hill, 3 players outside ready to contest, and it's just, repeated pans.
And look at those spawns from Crown as well. I think Coastal figured out where they were spawning. They put 3 players forward, only leaving JT on the hard point. Finally, though, Striker manages to get a different spawn. He's coming in from the other side, and he gets the kill, able to steal that away.
Nice to slow it down here, Prod. Crown Crusaders taking a different approach now. Coastal Gaming actually can't read the information as clearly, and it's lining up some wonderful pink kills in the feed. Although, again, it's just, a nuisance, a distraction, because the big impact there was Electric Aim, getting 2 crossfire kills and now setting up for a 1v1.
This is looking a little dicey for this final hard point here. Coastal, they've got a lot of people all in a row, but they're all coming from the same side. Gonna be some pretty contested movement in there. We see some success, though. They get those early kills. That puts Coastal on the hard point.
Yep, trophy's already on the point. This is going to be a very hard hill to break, but I think now we're seeing some nice initiative here just to start funding through mid, because it's allowing Crown Crusaders to at least get scrap time, which is now key. They have to repeat this at least 4 or 5 more times to equalize the score, George.
It's a tall hill to climb, but they've got to start it soon. 2:15 on the clock. Got to pause it here. Give themselves those opportunities you're talking about. But as soon as they get on the hill, JT just kills 3 of them in a row. Get that multi-kill. And again, we're back on Electric Aim in these weird spots where he's able to kind of sniff some stuff out, but he just hasn't had the impact.
I'm liking the opportunities, though. Coastal Gaming are just so confident with the ARs out front and in the open. There's no contest for Crown Crusaders to even force a sub to be the first one up. So it really is just sort of putting their pacing in a very perplexing situation. And now again, another hill. They got initial this time, but look at the full stack. They're not throwing utility, Coastal.
Yeah, new rotation, new opportunity to break through. This is Crown with they've got more people on this hard point right now. They're finally starting to get some points, only about 90 points away from evening this up. Closing out some nice kills here. Desi with the 2 in a row, but Ginger just runs in, holding down that trigger. Can he get 2? Not quite.
Lovely movement. Unfortunate end to what was a fitting tale. And Crown Crusaders have clawed back some deficit, and they're still showing signs of life. Great shots, but the time's still pink. And Coastal nearly on the 170 mark. You're looking towards now the end game, George.
This is getting real scary, but as you say that, Crown Crusaders brought it back, and then as I say that, it just goes back and forth the other way. It is so heavily contested, and now we've got a new point to look at, and it looks like Crown's the ones that are in a better position to get the early points on it.
They spawn directly on the hill. They start spreading out, ready for a setup. It's just great adjustment despite a terrible situation there on the prior scrap time. And already we're seeing a path come in, and that's nice. Ginger's gone very deep here, but the Crown Crusaders are aware of the one flanking. It's been a key pattern now appearing on their mini-map, and it's just the positioning now that needs them to hold this.
I'm noticing not only are they getting that spawn on the hill to help them get it initially, but look at these spawn points where all of the Crown players are coming in after they die. They've been able to keep Coastal far enough away that they're spawning almost a squad spawn right next to the hill, and it's making it so difficult for Coastal to push through.
And now look at Coastal Gaming. They've actually opted to avoid the fights here. They want to go very deep and at least stack a few players here. We call this the hole punch in Call of Duty. Stack 3 players in hill and make sure there's 2 barrels in the correct predicted lane. And Crown Crusaders, they're finding the perfect timing just to execute a beautiful set of kills.
And Electric is finally getting that flow motion, being more enabled by the team. Set up the trophy as well. Lock yourself into this next hard point. This game has completely turned around. Look at those KDs, the way they're switching back and forth.
Not so fast for Crown Crusaders. They've opted at least to all push through one door, and it's just a perfect line for Coastal Gaming. Look at this right here. All of them posted up, ARs out, watching the lanes, and it's just not the ideal situation for Crown Crusaders.
Some beautiful crosses here from Coastal. They are working as a team, that X-Cross setup, treating them very well. Almost a team wipe, but now it's starting to go back the other way. Electric Aim goes down. JT continues to stay locked in, but can you hold the point? No, Striker finds a way through. Can you push all the way through and actually lock down this point?
Crucial 1v1. Bowie gets control of the new time. Although Crown Crusaders are still scaling. Look at the proactive call from Coastal Gaming. They've started the setup. They've got to make sure this kill's found onto Electric Aim, because that's the biggest problem position that you could find yourself in.
Wait, I think Electric knows where he is. Bowie and Electric going back and forth. They have some sort of awareness. You can see them on the map, and it's going to be Bowie that gets that crucial kill, closing off that side of the map for them, and all of Yellow Team now on the left side, giving an opportunity for players like Ginger to get some more kills on their belt.
I know the submachine gun's done wonderful so far. Hold the camera as well, sees 2 players, and now the purple arrows can adjust, and it's just unfortunate timing. A vault over the wall, and Crown Crusaders start to find their opening.
Okay, Striker, I see you. I see you. My man is alive. He doesn't care how long this was delayed. It only made him stronger. Meanwhile, Electric Aim slowing it down. We can see the differences in paces, the way they're playing this point once they get on it. Unfortunately, goes down here. Prod goes down as well. This is an opportunity for Coastal to fight back on this point.
Technically sound map so far from Electric and Prod, combined 65 kills. They've put in most of the work so far for Crown Crusaders, and now we've come from 100 points down to what feels like a 7-point gap that can easily be turned at such a crucial point in this game.
It's so back and forth. That clock is running down as well. Electric and Ginger, 2 players I'm watching closely right now. 2 high-impact players in this map, number 1. They've been running into each other back and forth. We see Dexterity going around there, and now Bowie is right back in it.
No streak so far for either team. It feels like that would be a massive plus for either or. In what feels like a situation that has been repetitive, Crown Crusaders have got 5 spree right there on the board. It could easily lead to a very emphatic close.
They just need to get a couple more. Can you get that 7? Can you get that 8 to get the big heavy hitter items? At the moment, the answer is no. You got to be very careful with how you hold on to that kill streak. But once again, just the scraps are going so back and forth. This time, Coastal coming out on top. You see Dexterity try to push forward, but as soon as he does, Prod shuts it down. No one can get a big hold as we rotate to the next hard point.
Prod was first there, but Coastal Gaming have spawned right on it. He's not ready for this pressure. I don't think he has at least a read for what he's dealing with here. Thankfully, a nade and the stun saved, and it's easy lines.
Prod was trying to find a way through, not able to get it as Coastal closes out a crucial hit there at 236 for Crown right now. They only need to hold out a little bit longer if they can contest this point. Look at Dexterity's moving in. He gets one, throw the grenade, trying to bust through to get those last few seconds on the board.
Mapping and tracking is part of the game in Call of Duty. Crown Crusaders run down the clock, 20 seconds left. We might not see a complete time.
It's looking so close. Crown, 10 seconds. Can you hold it out? Doesn't matter if you can hold it out. It's so close, down to the wire. Crown is holding the point beautifully right now. Gets 2 big kills. Electric aim goes down. Bowie pushing forward with all of his might, but it's 2-1, and that is going to be it as Crown comes back from the clutches of defeat to close out map number 1.
That right there is just perfect clock playing, as we call it in Call of Duty, George. I mean, the actual heads-to-heads, I can guarantee none of the 8 players, other than one, was looking at that time. It was trickling. Shows you just how much of a kill-heavy matchup it was to kick things off in what feels like the swan song, the final part of the cast-off.
It really was. Like, what a better way than that to start out our final series of the night, right? You always come into it like, is it going to be a quick 3-0? Is it going to be a long game 5? And with a back and forth play, those high impact players, you can see the KDs coming up here. Players like Prod with the 41-27, and on the other side we got Bowie 39-31, keeping it so tight.
31 non-traded kills as well. A lovely stat to bring up when we're looking in post-game reactions. He was alive for at least 5 minutes, 4 minutes at a time. So he really was making sure that everyone was tracked across the map. But now we go to Rewind, Search and Destroy. After Crown Crusaders starting off a very slow hard point, 100 points down, didn't even matter to them. They came back and they converted in what was only really a storybook finish.
They just had to warm up a little bit, you know? Their hands got a little bit cold between games. My mouse sensitivity was a little bit too low. Let me just do a little 1-2 here on my Razer, and we're right back in it.
I feel like as well, there's so many talking points now that the new game has released, George, that we just have to visit. And you mentioned already the Omni movement and just how the game has drastically transformed itself from Modern Warfare 3 just 2 months ago. I mean, sprinting, sliding, diving in all directions sounds great, but let's see exactly how all the challengers players, professional players, and even the regulars in the college CoD circuit master it. It truly is going to be quite the revolutionary change the game has needed for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. I talked about this earlier. One of the big things that caught my mind was the movement coming from like the platform fighter world. A lot of the way you express your skill in those games is the way you're able to outmaneuver your opponents. And Call of Duty is really going in that direction in a way that I think is super interesting to be following in these early days of a new game.
And this map in particular, Rewind, pays homage to Moscow in the sense of the condensed map design and the open third lane. But listen, nades are so useful in this. Cars everywhere across the map. Expect a car bomb death to be almost certain when you're playing this.
Once again, we're going to see that it's that fast, slow start, right? Everybody's mashing every button on their controller to get a little bit closer. But then once you get there, everybody chill, take a deep breath. We even see Desi going way off in the corner trying to catch a flank.
First blood's drawn already. Crown Crusaders, listen, the trade was not on their cards. 3v3, bomb reclaimed, and that is starting to slowly shuffle towards the north side of the map. They're actually playing safe in the center because at this point, Coastal Gaming are posted up across all 3 lanes.
I see Striker trying to figure out, is it safe to grab this point? Do I tell my teammate to go? And as you're doing that, drops another teammate. It's now 3v2. And once again, Striker is now moving around, trying to find a safe place. He's checking all these corners. Can we even get the bomb down against this much pressure?
Lovely formation that Coastal have adopted here, still playing close to the opposing site, but they can set up for a wonderful team flank because, again, this map presents so much opportunity to do so.
Bomb does go down, planted at A. Bowie know more or less where they're going to be. They're not likely to be split off from each other. And look how they are just circling, making sure there's no exits. They do not want to get flanked.
It's the worst situation to be in, although very interesting to see. Dexter, right outside, finds one. And it makes it even more interesting to note that Crown Crusaders have got to put all their trust on Striker. 20 seconds left, could be doable. Has to play his life. No utility left in the belt, but he's so easily tracked. It's almost in consolation. Coastal convert the first round, and there's only 10 more to go.
It was rough for Striker. Tried to back out. Knew the 2v1 was going to be difficult to fight against. Plays for the post plant instead. But when you've got one guy on the bomb, one guy holding that angle where he knows where you're going to be, sometimes it's just checkmate.
You also kind of sense as well when the sub players do take search and control on this map that they love hitting mid straight away. And why wouldn't you? Only 4 corners to check. So in the laws of averages and whatever kind of applies to Call of Duty, this is almost going to be a guaranteed trade or a guaranteed blood if done correctly. But again, we have to make sure that we're watching the nades off spawn. Send them really, really high if you're Crown Crusaders in this position, because right now we're flipping the sides around and Coastal opting to go to the south side straight away and avoid detection.
They're going to the south side, but it seems like Crown is following suit. They've got 3 guys on that bomb site, and Desi going for those early. You see the grenade throws as well, like you were talking about, and Electric on that 2-kill streak. Let's see if we can rack that up even higher.
They've split up right now. Dexter's gone all the way to the north side of the map because they think Crown Crusaders is going to push, but there's just no push to be had. 4v2, you're literally defending the site. Why wouldn't you, George?
This is so hard for Coastal. They're down 2 players. You can see how slow, how patient they're playing, but they've only got 45 seconds to figure out how to crack through this seemingly insurmountable defense. One of them gets spotted. He goes for the chow. Nothing ends up coming out of it as both of them end up backing off.
Striker has no idea how important he is right now. The door bang is there. Oh, very happy on the trigger, but the slide and the dive just makes it a Crown Crusaders special.
That got a little bit dicey at the end. Like you were mentioning, this positioning here was huge. If he was able to get the second one there on dexterities, but it just was not, or excuse me, because he was able to get that second on dexterities, able to close it out before things get out of hand.
I think when they get out of hand, George, it's really going to start to elevate the game plan for both teams, because so far we've only really seen, 2 set strats explored, but when we open the playbook even further, Coastal Gaming have learned at least now from mistakes not to hit certain points in the map together as a 4, knowing that Electric Aim has been having a very wonderful success rate on that position.
Man, just Striker goes up to throw the grenade, and I see 2 more coming right back at him the other way. You were not kidding about those early grenade strats, trying to set up control, and just a little bit of awareness you can maybe use on that for which way is my opponent trying to run right now. Ooh, early gunfight, and Striker gets traded out.
Just about. He gets away. Still fearful. You can see the guns up and ready. Spots one crossing, maybe the second as well. This is key information now to support and maybe get a crossfire set up.
Electric goes for the wall bang, not able to get it. Coastal getting away with murder quite literally on that one. And now JT trying to get back into this as we even up, but I can't even finish talking about it. Bowie goes down. JT, the last one standing, and unfortunately gets caught in a 2v1.
Oh, just unfortunate deaths. I mean, it was a sliding battle right there in the middle supermarket, and it just was always going to be a very tough call if you were on the receiving end of 2 straight kills, and it's just a terrible crossfire. Electric Aim, always the point of a problem so far for Coastal, but I must say it's an impressive series the young man is having so far.
It's been very interesting to see when these teams are choosing to move quickly and move slowly in this S&D. Those critical decisions, you've only got a minute and a half on the clock for this whole round. How often is it worth taking that deep breath to reanalyze? Ooh, and the early kill goes out to Electric Aim.
Habits are starting to be read by Crown Crusaders. Very important, especially now we're 3 rounds in. This is going to really stop Coastal Gaming's set strategy. They have to now start relying on mechanics, and this is again where you have to call your teammates over if you're Crown Crusaders. Maybe even just, reinforce the setup, because Striker can freely walk around, find 2, and make it an absolute despairing moment for Coastal Gaming.
Yeah, Striker popping off right now. Electric Aim also popping off. JT is able to start getting back into this round, but at this point, talk about a mountain. My man Sisyphus right now, gonna do everything he can, but it may be too little too late.
Feels like now you take the French timeout of your Coastal Gaming. Just spend all your time talking to your teammates, figuring out what went wrong, because it's an unwinnable situation, a constellation kill. Crown Crusaders right now are laughing all the way up to Paris.
Yeah, this is a good position to be in if you're Crown. Looking pretty solid. Multiple rounds in a row now. You were talking about figuring out the patterns, and this is what happens when you execute on it. Finding those crosses, knowing exactly when your opponent is going to be peeking through.
Let's take a moment here, George, just to breathe and understand what's going on right now in the Coastal Gaming camp. They've had 2 very key openings on round number 1 and round number 4 where they've had success in the mid gunfights, but obviously barring one really rough strat. Let's see the set nades go here for Crown Crusaders. And Prod again isn't opting to throw, but instead try and win the head glitch. So it's really showing how confident they are right now in not just getting control of the map, but taking such hard gunfights.
Wait, Prod and JP, this could get really interesting right now. If one of them pushes forward out of their angle before the other, they could get caught out. And Desi also there on the same side, ends up getting shot. Now you know where JT is, who is going to win this gunfight. They both back off. They're retreating to safety. No one wants to overexpose.
And Ginger is right near bomb, opting to try and find one player straggling from the Crown Crusaders path, but it's just a wow. Okay, out of harm's way. How well can the movement favor? Striker cleans up. Right now, you feel like teams are just sending everyone here into warehouse, and it's just an absolute bloodbath at the end of it. A 1v1. JT spot Striker, gets away, crucial moment, sticking the defuse, one last wrap around, can Striker find the timing? It feels like it's too long of a route, and JT...
Oh! I think he got it. Yeah, he did, just barely. JT diffuses the bomb. That's 2 rounds in a row where he was the last standing, this time opting to stick the bomb, and it pays off.
I feel like, again, when the patch comes out, to see exactly when that bomb is diffused, George, oh, we're going to have heads rolling on the floor. But I got to say right now, it's very enjoyable to understand just what we're seeing from Coastal Gaming to actually rectify some past mistakes.
Now you're talking about those deep breaths. Do you decide to push quickly like we saw early, or do you slow it down like that most recent round from Crown where they were looking for those early kills? It looks like it's going to be another relatively slow opener for both teams.
No kills, and usually we see it in the first 15 seconds here from these two teams in the previous 5 rounds, and they've actually both read at least a wonderful initiative to just make sure that they can position themselves.
Ooh, Prod's got some ideas.
Left.
He's got the high ground, and he gets the first blood as well. That is huge for your team, and he has so much space to maneuver around and stay out of danger. They know where he is, but there's nothing you can really do about it.
Bombers are applied, though. Again, that's one of the biggest problems when you play a slow round if you're on the attacking side. Not just that, but a man down now. Oh my goodness me. You feel like you're pressured in all 4 corners, and that's why Coastal Gaming are not leaving a building.
Prod, he's looking for that sight line, trying to figure out, are they going to push out to challenge me? We actually see Ginger. He's moving up that way, taking some risks with the bomb. You do not want to drop it over there.
One thing about this game, in comparison to Modern Warfare 3 and Infinity War games, less aim assist. And you're seeing it here in these long-range gunfights, George. It's just, you know, Crown Crusaders clearly have at least been taking the time to just, you know, not just know the nuances of each map, but the wall bangs too, which, as we've said, a much lighter feel in this Call of Duty.
Yeah, these maps are made out of paper mache, as far as I can tell. It's like that, is it cake or is it a real object thing we do? Except everything is wall bangable now.
And it's really benefiting Crown Crusaders. It feels like now they've spent at least probably a couple hours on this in a private match just to understand what bomb sites can be exploited. And it's clear to see now that these behaviors have got them at least a 2-round advantage. Yeah, Coastal Gaming have a new break off. There's 2 players in
comfortable. Ginger's got a sight. They've got the idea of what they want to do here. Do you dare go out that door? Potential X-Cross here. Nobody finds anything just yet, but they're so close.
They're playing well around the map. There's 2 players actually sandwiched in between Crown Crusaders, and it's just almost an easy picking for them. Another technical error. And Coastal Gaming lose Ginger, all positioned their bombs. It's the only saving grace.
Ginger's still the only one to go down. We see Dexterity knows where they are, trying to find a pick, does not get it, backs out, stepping back in that bomb site, but now you're stuck in the bomb fight. Bowie gets in for the kills. Electric Aim also in with that 3 streak right now. You know where the bomb is. Can you actually close in on it before they put it down?
Beautiful positioning here again. Dexterity has no idea just the importance right now this could have. Hold your line. JT's pushing him right into your hands. Bally! Oh my word. Beautiful wrap, beautiful 2. And it's 4-3. Very different prospect from what was going to be a game point for Crown Crusaders. They're still fighting for this one.
This is where you turn around that momentum. You got to get 2 in a row, but it's a whole lot better than having to get 3. Coastal had their ideas, even off of a difficult start to that round. The way they held the sights was just enough to catch Crown off guard with those little mix-ups that they're adding in.
They're making sure that they are punishing the clear aggressive tendencies of Striker. It's been very, very obvious now in the later portions where the same strats from round 1 to 3 aren't going to work now from 7 to 9. It just has to be now at least a coordinated team push, maybe even going in pairs of 2. That tends to help at least cross-firing a straggling player.
Striker going deep as well. Are you going to be able to get anything off of this? We see a lot of space control from Coastal. They're trying to get in towards this bomb site, getting themselves comfortable, checking all the angles. Are they going to find Striker?
It's tentative, George.
Ooh, he looks the wrong way, and Striker wins the 50-50 on that one, immediately dashing out. But that blows this round open for Crown. Not looking good for Coastal.
Did benefit again in a post-plan situation. Electric has not predicted the right corner. Now we're seeing Crown Crusaders here funnel into the supermarket.
Once
and
again,
Prod
it's
is wrapping around,
50-50s.
saving his life here, George.
They're keeping it even just barely, but once again, Coastal goes down. Last alive here for Ginger. Can you close this out for your team? And the answer is no, as Crown has just enough time to defuse this bomb. It was close, but it wasn't quite enough.
Maybe again, it might haunt them. Maybe it actually might inspire an incredible chain of 3 rounds. As been said before in Call of Duty, never to count out your horses, but only predict what might be. And it's just Prod having, at least now in the second half of this Search and Destroy, a very clinical game. And predicting 90% of these 1v1 situations to a T. Let's actually understand now what could be changed from Coastal Gaming. They're going to be planting this time around. Or should I say, they're going to be defending this time around. Excuse me, everyone in the chat. Crown Crusaders now. What are they going to do? Similar to Coastal Gaming, it's a massive hit towards the opposing side with a very tentative person in JT.
Ooh, tentative is the word for it. Nobody wants to overextend. They know what is on the line. Crown, 1 score away from victory here. Can Coastal find the answers? They found Striker. He's in an awkward spot here, but Prod is ready to cover on Ginger as they're moving around and they're poking at these positions, but no one is committing to the gunfights.
I saw an
but there it
R60
is.
car. Oh, Coastal Gaming. They have one. It can be very important. Just hasn't been used in the right situation. And you think
Crucial
right
kill.
now, 4v3, no need to spend it. Just play the positions. You've got the setup advantage, and you've boxed Crown Crusaders here.
And JT finds himself in another gunfight. This time it doesn't work out super well for him, but still Coastal comes out in the end on top in those gunfights, gets themselves another round on the defensive side. But the question's going to remain, can they start getting those offensive rounds as well?
It's a great point, George. Both teams have very good defensive halves, but the only real advantage I'd give, definitely Coastal Gaming in the offense, is they're getting bombs down, my friend. They actually are committing to the objective. It's just unfortunate how they can hold their lives when every single situation we've seen them in the post plant, 2v3, 1v2, it's just never going to be stacked against your favor, but maybe there's one round that will come up that will completely spin it on its head.
Getting into what could be the final round here. Bowie moving forward with that bomb. The entire Coastal team rushing in together this time. 4 stacking, committing hard to this site. They want to get that early control, and Crown maybe not super ready for it.
Ooh, nice avoidance from Coastal Gaming. They're all getting very scared now because they're seeing all the bullets come through the windows. And Electric Aim draws that first blood.
Now we're back on Prod, also in a gunfight here. Can you close it out? This is critical, and the answer is no, as JT gets that instead, keeping the Coastal hopes alive. They want so badly to win this game number 2. They don't want to be caught on the back foot.
It's very, very aggressive, particularly when Coastal Gaming are, well, at least for now, trying to get bomb first thing off. But when they're in post plant, same pattern. Can they hold their lives? Make it a 2v2? Because we're in a similar pattern now. 2v3, attacking side. Will they get bombed down? It's possible.
We've seen this before. If you can get that plant, you've got the time here. But Electric, I think he's sniffing something out. Going in for the kill. Gets it. And that might be enough. Last alive here. JT, you've been here before. Can you clutch it out this time?
Oh, the wall bangs through. Just not enough. They've read the information, played it to perfection. And that's Crown Crusaders. A 2-0 lead. Somebody's going home today. And Crown Crusaders and their prestige across Tier 2 Call of Duty just won't let it happen to them.
This is a rough spot to be in if you're Coastal. JT was the last alive. Such a high impact player in so many of those rounds when it came down to the end. But just they were not able to get those cohesive team strats. I think you were on the money where Crown just looked a bit more comfortable with where those crosses were, where those head glitches were, and keeping themselves ever so slightly ahead in that sort of neutral game state.
I think in at least, 8 of the rounds we saw Crown Crusaders, they had man advantage within the first 10 seconds. There's only really one round that, if you recall, when nobody was traded in a minute. And it actually didn't benefit Coastal Gaming at all because it made them more passive and actually, play backwards from the objective. And it's just these little patterns of behavior and the signs of fear where Crown Crusaders, just knowing, we're in loser's bracket, can capitalize on.
Yes, they can. And Coastal is going to have to take a deep breath, figure out where are we making these mistakes. We can't get in our own heads, and they're going to have a couple minutes to figure that out because we're going to be thrown to a very short break. So don't go anywhere, y'all. We will be right back. The scoreline, 2-0. Crown Crusaders looking so strong in that last map. Coastal Gaming starting to fall behind a little bit in this best-of-5 series. They've got to figure it out quickly. We saw the early momentum on the first hardpoint. Is that something they can tap into again, or are they going to fall by the wayside right here, right now? I really like that you mentioned that slowing down, because that was something that was really big in the last game, but that's going to obviously be different in hardpoint. So where do you think the team should be prioritizing speed and movement, and where do you think they should be taking a deep breath? Oh, it's just so pretty. The top down. I saw, what was the, I mean, come on, you can't just drop that kind of a pool on me and not let me be impressed by it. It's so beautiful. Can I live here? I'm excited to see how things are going to change in this last map. There's that pool. It's so pretty. We had that little bit of downtime. The Call of Duty devs cooked this time around. They did a fantastic job. The visual clarity, but enough about that. We've already had our first, oh no, we didn't. That was a little bit of a visual bug there. We're all good here. Bowie now finally going down as the first blood, giving Crown an opportunity, but it's right back. 2 for 1, make it 3 for 1. I can't even tell anymore. It's moving too quickly. And the hill completely cleared right now. Ooh, a little bit spicy here as Prod tries to go in for that kill, but JT instead able to close it out. That's crucial for them and wins the gunfight as well. And the last one on the hill is Striker, who also goes down. JT so high impact in that location. Even if you're not getting the kills, just the threat of being there.
Nice little setup here. 3 players positioned across 3 lanes. You've got a lurker in Dexter. Coastal Gaming are actually playing really well here. But Crown Crusaders, again, applying their skill to trade. The submachine gunners are simply too powerful. Striker's in his element, chucking all the utility on the 2 chokes. But it might only stall the push for a moment.
Striker just has no fear. The number of times this man has just held that W key forward. If you could glue a second W key onto the keyboard and hold that one, Striker would.
I feel like now, at this point for Crown Crusaders, different start from the first half point. Very even across both teams. But the pathing's better from Coastal. They're sending players deeper to try and center Crown Crusaders away from the next hill. So they're starting to play towards a proactive call to rotate.
Yes, and you can see that rotation from Crown in full effect. A few extra points going on for Coastal, but in the end, is that extra 10-minute points going to matter? It kind of did on the first one. Let's see if it happens the same way this time around. A great clear there from Coastal, able to get themselves on the hard point. What can Crown do to fight this back?
Oh, 2 players drop in. Last 2 are up high. Could be a nice flank. Flip spawns. Coastal Gaming, pressure's on you now. Can you read this pressure? Prod starting to sliver around the map, and it's free for Crown Crusaders. A clean break. And look at the sponge effect now. They're pushing out onto the east side of the map, and Coastal Gaming have to read again. Another awkward situation.
They've had to completely give up on that hard point. And look at that, Crown just comes in anyway. Once again, we see our man Striker with the 2 W keys holding forward to the next hard point while his team holds this one for him, gets another kill, still going. And then we slow it down with Electric Game just on that cross, making sure no one gets behind him.
Yeah, they're playing now free inside the hill. Coastal Gaming hoping that Crown Crusaders commit to another aggressive push, but they've slowed down themselves. So it's creating an awkward time when no one's really getting on hill. And when you touch, I mean, it invites 1v1s, but Coastal Gaming have it.
That's crucial kill for Bowie. You need to keep yourself ahead in this game number 3. Reminder that they are down 0-2 in the set. Bowie does go down. Electric Game gets a kill there. They're trying to push in. A scrap from both sides. 2v2 gunfights. 2 go down from Crown's side, and still a hell hold from Coastal.
Difficult to see Crown Crusaders falling in similar traps on that first hard point. Prioritizing scrap and contests where Coastal Gaming have ARs positioned ready to invite. And it's the 4 kills we see time and time again right at the end of each hill where Coastal can start absorbing all this uncontested time.
It's starting to add up. It's 10 here, it's 10 there, but when you get it on every single hill, let's see if it carries into the next one. Crown tried to get in there early, but the double kill, Electric and Prod both go down. Now we see Striker trying to make up for it. Does get it, fights his team back into positioning here. Can you hold it?
Limited opportunity for both teams to get streaks because everyone's running into each other. It's just awkward timing across the board, but it's what makes it so special. The new hill is popped. Electric Aim has got a trophy and he's prone. This is just basically to absorb time. Striker's pushed up in a position where maybe impact could be of question. The only real impact there was a diverted route as the new Coastal Gaming breach onto the hill could actually open up a brand new opportunity where we see Crown Crusaders, at least now, get a bit of time.
Ginger and Bowie getting real spicy there. Both of them went super deep, but they are just falling like flies. Get my man some milk because they are dying in cereal right now as Crowd continues to hold this point uncontested.
2 kills, Coastal Gaming. Time, though, again, has to be thought about. The spawns are way too close to Crown Crusaders, and they can easily now start to play them at their own game. 3 skulls on the board. Crown Crusaders now closing that gap, making a meal of it.
Working out super well for Crown to get back into this game. They want to close it out in 3. We got a little bit of a scrap. JT goes down again. That's crucial. Ginger misses them. He might get shot from behind. Does he know they're there? Electric swinging around, does close out that kill. And once again, Crown has free reign to set themselves up on this point.
They're slowing it down, Coastal Gaming. Crown Crusaders, for the first time in this series, take the lead on a hard point. And we look now directly at what the effect is. Prod is playing an awkward angle, and it's just freeing up the submachine guns of Crown Crusaders. And they now are at least going to be judged during execution on Coastal Gaming strat.
Desi taking a little bit of a page out of Striker's playbook here, getting so aggressive, finally goes down. Dexterity's trying to move in. All of these players from Coastal are just stuck in the corner, and look how wide Crown is able to swing out for free right now.
And it's actually a defensive setup for Coastal Gaming. They're avoiding the hill. They want to actually make sure that they can read Crown Crusaders push. Dexterity's the man to answer the call. The man for free for all.
Ginger with the 3 in a row there. That is huge. Can you get more out of it? They are able to hold this point finally. We see a little bit of an attempt there to clear them out. No success. And now Prod coming in from the back immediately gets taken out by Dexterity.
Oh, they're pushing through at least a choke point now for Coastal Gaming. You feel like 2 ARs might be enough here to break this setup. And simply put, you got to read the pressure. That's what Crown Crusaders have done so well in the second half of Hills. And Dexterity now is putting the entire team into what we can only describe as a nice, reasonable sized backpack.
Indeed. Both of these teams have been so good at holding the hills on this map once they get them. It may come down to who's the first person who's able to get that big break on a hill. Let's see what the rotation has in store as Crown's trying to set up.
Nice delivery. Coastal Gaming actually trying to at least attack the south side of the map for an easy flank. Big kill to find. That's going to be a nice little flip where Desi is not going to support the team, but it's great hold. Electric now answering the call. But with Bowie on a 5 spree and eventually dying, again, limits all sort of threat that Coastal Gaming might have.
You see Dexterity being careful. We've got that streak coming up. Are you going to be able to make much use of it? Meanwhile, Crown, super comfortable. The points starting to rack up. There's not a lot more opportunities for Coastal to get in here. And Desi, as soon as they come in, just shuts them down, gets 2 in a row. We're still going. Finally drops to Dexterities, who now has 8 in a row. Are we going to see those strikes coming out?
Oh, the Hellstorm's online. It's going to be a very, very tasty affair when we get to the closing portions of the game, which Crown Crusaders, nearly at 200 points, one more full 50 hill. They've got the game. They've got the series. They're going to lose this round 4, which is always going to be in the back of the minds of Coastal Gaming.
But Coastal, they've got some resources. Let's see if they can actually use them to good effect on this next hill. They do get the early catch on the hill. Can they hold it again as effectively as before?
They've played well. They're proning behind. The trophies have been shot, so nades are fully exposed onto this point. Electric Aim's nearby, but look, 3 dead. Crown Crusaders, not the right time, not the right path. This is positioning that Bowie now can exploit and just run through.
Coastal can feel their presence through the walls, cutting them down like Paul Bunyan. There is no escape from the lumberjacks that are Coastal Gaming on this hill right now.
Chopping them down, cutting them by the wayside. Coastal Gaming. Still, though, climbing towards an overtake. But Crown Crusaders practically thinking this point, right, rotate. Because at this point with Coastal Gaming and their positioning, that's a big kill to find onto Bowie. You're getting control of a brand new hill, but there's still fights to be had.
They know how important it is. They were willing to sacrifice a couple of points there for the sake of this next one. Like you were mentioning before, how important it is. You cannot let Crown get an entire hill. Bowie in a great position here, trying to fight for this lane. And on the other side, who better than JT to keep closing these out? Such high impact in that positioning.
Crown Crusaders, 2 ARs on the roof, an unbreakable setup, a punishing one at that. Overtaking Crown Crusaders in the closing embers of map number 3.
Yeah,
this is the only real glimmer.
My man he's just happy to be here, letting the team take finally here into a gunfight. It doesn't matter.
They can't elevate the strategy any more than they possibly have. Coastal Gaming now are literally 18 seconds away from converting. Crown Crusaders with one last good push, a crucial kill to find it, open up the north side of the map. Almost a perfect win, but it's crucial now from Dexterities. 8 seconds left, and you're pretty much now looking towards an extension in the series. One final hit, a purple kill feed. Dexterities adding more and more kills to that board. Coastal Gaming make it 2-1, extending us now to another hardpoint.
They are still in this. They fought back admirably through that game. The times they sped up, the times they slowed down, going back to what we were talking about, search and destroy before, recognizing that crucial moment halfway through this game where they're like, you know what? That point's all you. I'm gonna go to the next one. You get your 10 points there. And they continued to carry that strat through for those final few points. And we saw how effective it was, giving people like Ginger the opportunity to just sit on a roof with an AR and wait for the people to come to them.
35 and 20 for Dexterities on one of the fastest and most grueling maps, where you feel like 30-30 is a good scoreline. Really talented player showing up on the big occasion. Now we get a protocol. And it's still Coastal Gaming here fighting for a lifeline. Nothing truly is off limits until we see red card. And that is still where Crown Crusaders have a complete hold on the series.
It's another hard point as well. I feel like this may be pointing toward Coastal Gaming's benefit. You had that momentum coming out of the last game. You solved a lot of the issues that you were having. And the question is going to be, if you can keep that momentum going, or if this is the opportunity where Crown on a fresh map, maybe they're more aware of the callouts. We saw how comfortable they were on Rewind. Is it going to be the same case with Protocol?
I have to commend Coastal Gaming. If they pull a reverse sweep, then it's just full credit to their goal setting. They're starting off small. They know they're a massive deficit, and they just have to take it map by map, as we say. They can't look towards a big picture, but they can only do their best in what's in front of them. You saw it down the skyline. You know, the hard point's very strong, and we saw it in that map number 1, but it was crucial mistakes that let them down to lose it. So, repeating it again, and George, you alluded to it in a gorgeous fashion, Protocol could favor them very well here.
Man, I love this map. Can we get that? Yeah, give me the top down. Go right into it. We're headed to Alcatraz, baby. Super excited to see. I just want to know, like, from a lore perspective, what kind of game plan does this military base have for you strategically? Because there's no ports here to, like, actually run ships through.
I mean, listen, map designs are not inspired by, well, I'd say active True World events, but they're meant to be designed for 8 players in a Call of Duty lobby in a custom game.
No, I need realism in my Call of Duty. I need to see the infrastructure.
There's a pool table there, to be fair. Can't be that bad of a base. You know,
oh, yeah, you're right. They got the arcade machines, too.
I know. Big old USA flag. I wonder where that base must be.
That's crazy.
Just to sort of set the scene. Let's rip it off here. Brand new break. Crown Crusaders 2-0 in the series. First gunfight though goes to Coastal Gaming.
That's a great way to set the scene. Dexterities gets that kill. Ginger Pop going to be the one who falls this time. Had such a comfortable time of it the last game, and now you're getting caught out in those early situations, giving Crown a chance to set up for this first hold.
Now, one of the sort of caveats of this map into the rest, not as wall bangable as the rest, as they say. Lots of hard brick, lots of open lane. So really, you're fighting for contesting these houses here, and Des has got a wonderful idea and a good line on a few Coastal players.
You have some really tight point locations as well on those rotations, and how important the rotation timing was in the last game. I'm super excited to see how much the strategy shifts and how much they managed to keep the same kind of momentum as they did previously.
Momentum's being built off of some wonderful pixel peaks. And Coastal Gaming are very, very problematic. They can't deal with the headies as effectively as Crown Crusaders can, and that's why the score's 43-0.
All right, yeah. Looking real good for Desi. 3-0, make a 4-0 right now. Finally drops as Ginger's trying to make up for lost time on that early death. Only got a few points on this point, but at least you're able to get something. Yeah, open the door, like you said. No wall bangs, but at least control space.
Beautiful movement, and it's still a heavy, tailored feed. Coastal Gaming, though, have control of some spawns. Crown Crusaders haven't actually pushed anyone in mid because they're funneling through the north side of the map. So you're going to have a constant barrage of gunfights ahead of you. Could be a heavily contested hill.
Such a great start for Crown. But like you said, that contesting for the hills. Hill number 2 finally online. We see Electric trying to fight back for it. Ends up dropping early. That is crucial to give Dexterities and Bowie an opportunity to close out this early. But Striker, not to be deterred, runs right in, dropping back and forth. Bowie, the one who comes out on top, continuing to hold for Coastal.
They're stacking 3 players inside the new hill. They're bunkering up, and it's just, again, a reactive call to make sure that every single nook and cranny of this easily broken hardpoint can be covered. They've saved utility. No trophies thrown down just yet, though. Maybe we're seeing a pattern that could be costly, because Crown Crusaders still are actually making sure that this break is doable. Dexter, though, again, the thorn in the side.
Desi with the 50-50 there. You look the wrong way. Psych, I'm on this side. That's why you got to look both ways before you cross the street. And now Electric chasing down, gets caught on both sides. It doesn't matter where you're looking. You're going down to yellow team as they break into this hard point for the first time in a while, making Coastal sit on the back foot.
The Striker's a bit worried here. Taking corners very slowly. Coastal Gaming actually aren't meeting the pressure head on. They're flanking round for what could be a very clean 4-feed.
JT just trying to chuck that grenade in, trying to control that space. Doesn't even want to give him an opportunity to get into that Chow situation. And now we see Yellow Crown slowing it down. They're looking towards that next point if necessary.
They're making a lovely effort. Those trophies are saving them from this break so far. No info tagged. And look at Crown Crusaders on the north side of the map. They're ready for a big hit.
Oof. A little overextension there. Bowie goes down, Ginger goes down, and now we see Crown run in. Goes past JT, who's able to get a kill because of it. Striker trading him out. Now we're going for 3 in a row for Striker. Sliding in, gets caught, but another trade, and somehow Yellow comes out on top.
Oh, lovely pattern. Crown Crusaders sticking together and flowing around the map as a massive unit. So trades are there, but still a very close score line and only 17 points between them.
Ooh, look at JT and Bowie coming out from the back. You see where the next point is. Meanwhile, on the other side, Electric Game further behind them. We've got lineups on lineups on lineups. Who's going to pull the trigger first? Looks like it's going to be Coastal.
This is a very creative idea here from Electric, playing near the hill, allowing the teammates to cause a distraction, so a 1v1 can easily take, and it's just beautiful engineering and at least an exclusivity to trusting in the team.
Big kill from Bowie as well, and that puts Coastal on the point. They're trying to lock it in with Dexterities and Bowie up high, up against Prod. Can they get this out, or is this an opportunity for Brod to break their lineup?
They've got a one-player flanking. Prod. Is it impactful? Yes, it is. He's lined up not a couple, but Electric's there to support. And JT's so far removed from the hill, has to play his life, wait for him to respawn. A flip though, and Dexter's got the awkward pinch.
And that's all it takes. Prod finds that awkward location. It gets people looking the other way, realizing he's over there. Beautiful timing for Crown to come in. Now they've held the point so well. It is contested. Who can fight through? Coastal is back. They've got 2 members. Striker fighting for his life. He does go down, but in those ashes, Desi rides through. And immediately, we rotate right to the next point. We try again.
Lovely work, and you have to give it to Bowie and Dexter. Pairing up, AR and Sub. Simply just filling in the gaps where you can allow 2 players in your team to just objectively find the right pathing to get to the hill without even costing yourself a spawn.
Ooh, I'm looking at Dex and Prod. They're coming in from the one side. It seems like Dex was ready for them, but has to back off, has to give up that point in fear of getting team wiped. And that's more or less what ends up happening. JT off the side, also stuck in the corner, just waiting for teammates to come back, and is not able to hold out as Crown starts to get themselves back into this potential points lead.
This is one rotation fight. Though, key pattern to realize, Coastal Gaming and Crown Crusaders in these sets of hills, George, are not throwing as many nades or stuns as the last. It feels like a very open gunfighty style game we have here on our hands.
And you can see the early rotation as well. Crown got some great spawns to let them get the next point, holding that early, but can you keep it? You've got 4 all in a line for Coastal, but 3 go down in a row. Electric again, absolutely clotheslining Coastal, getting 6 in a row. Let's see if that streak finally comes online for him.
And it's a very crucial position to be in. I mean, listen, you've still caught the flanking player, but JT's in a very key position of power here. The rest of the hill swarmed in pink.
Let's see if that Hellfire comes into play as Coastal fights their way in. They managed to get it for just a second, but Striker, once again, he is always on the front lines. No fear. 3 in a row. Throw that grenade just to shut down any potential openings. Bowie tries to come in, immediately shut down as well by Electric, and it's once again all in serial, just getting mowed down by this Crown defense.
Look what it's rewarded them with, 180 seconds. They've got 1 hill, perfect hold, and they're pretty much there. And we're still seeing Coastal Gaming flank and try and be creative in what seems to be a desperate situation. But now it has to be at least 100% conversion rate on these gunfights for them.
This is so rough. And not only do they need 100% conversion on these gunfights, if this hill does go all the way in Crown's way, they're going to need pretty much 100% conversion on the next few if they want to keep themselves alive in this series.
Minimal streaks. Simply put, that's the only sort of, like, act of God that would save them in this situation.
Indeed.
We see it way too punishing, and Desi's just adding more insult to injury.
That's a good kill. Ginger trying to fight towards Electric. Do you know where he is? Not ready for the 2. 1 high, 1 low. You aim right in the middle and you get shot every time.
Playing it very carefully, not Coastal. They are winning gunfights and they're being cocky about it. Oh, this is gorgeous. 8 days old this game is, but it feels like Coastal have been playing it for a lifetime.
I can hear the Linkin Park music starting to show up on the montage later tonight on YouTube. Get ready for the 360s because the way Crown is playing right now, it's contested, but it's going to be very rough for Coastal to get themselves back into this.
Yeah, 18 seconds is not a favorable sight. Electric!
Oh!
Sends them to hell. 3 in a row.
There was that airstrike we were waiting for. He's been holding on to that for ages, knew exactly when to pull it, and now it's starting to rack up. You've only got a few seconds left, Coastal.
And a perfect hold. Listen, one last push, one last contest. Prod is pinching. It could be dire.
Crown back on, but the moment they're on, Coastal back again. Like you said, one last push, once again contested. Crown for a millisecond is on, doesn't even get a point, but we're back in. 5 seconds, can you hold it? No, we're contested again. We're back on Crown. They're going down. I think this is going to be it. And Crown manages to keep themselves alive in this tournament, pushing forward to victory over Coastal. Fantastic play on that final hardpoint game, able to keep the points when it mattered most.
Wonderful adjustments and great teamwork is what Crown Crusaders needed and got in that map. But above all else, commiserations to Coastal. They're going home, but not to be really feared or worried or sad about this defeat. It's against one of the best teams and organizations we've seen across Tier 2 in these local LAN circuits. And it just maybe is now 8 days in, an early sign for, okay, well, this is the potential of the team. It's clearly quite high. Let's just start cultivating a good culture and get everyone ready for the start of the season in December and January.
I am so impressed with how well Crown was able to enable their sub players to get those big kill streaks. Like you were pointing out, they weren't getting those 7s, those 8s. We weren't seeing the Hellfire missiles coming out, but they were getting those 3s and 4s. And that was enough to keep that edge, especially in that last game. We saw the same thing on Rewind where they were looking so solid, and just continuously have that slight advantage that forces Coastal to come to them in awkward scenarios.
And the awkward scenarios sort of lead into a further deeper question of are the systems working? You know, are the systems working? The 8-day-old systems that we've implemented, how are they looking? And it's just too short of a review time really to give a conclusive answer. So I feel like in these moments, George, they shouldn't be super hard on themselves, but they really should sort of assess, you know, all the silver linings they can find in an event like this.
Yeah, absolutely agree. You can't feel too bad going home at this point in the bracket. You found where your weaknesses are, right? You've got the VODs to review. You know where things didn't quite work. Maybe those call-outs, who knows? Maybe they don't even have call-outs for that map yet, right? There's so much you have to devote yourself to in the few days that you had. So where do you diversify that time?
The time needs to be spent in the VOD room, at least watching back the matches that we've seen so far today, especially for Coastal, where I feel like they made some really impressive plays, and their teamwork at times was miles better than Crown Crusaders. But the problem was, again, is that they didn't prioritize just what the ARs of Crown Crusaders might impact most and expose from Coastal Gaming. Big problems again, open range gunfights, letting the submachine gun players, again, just sort of take free reign from losing what seems like easy 60-40 deals. And just, it's all a mental game at the end of the day, George. Just having the confidence now to take this on the chin and go into the next one.
And with that, I love that you mentioned those sub players, because I believe in a second here, we're going to get Electric Aim in for an interview. There we go. There's my man, Electric Aim, one of the most impactful players in that series. Fantastic job. Congratulations. And I want to know, going into this, what do you feel like really enabled you to have the presence that you did in especially that final map?
Well, to be honest, I mean, we played that map earlier today against Speedy White Men. We got slammed. We talked about it a lot. We just realized that the way I play the game, it's like I'm really impactful, but I'm also really impactful winning gunfights, and I just wasn't winning gunfights with the submachine gun. So they just told me to basically just be me, just whip out the AR, chow what I want. When I feel like running a sub, just switch to a sub, just do what I want, really. And I just felt free. And I just felt like I could do what I want. I just ran out and did what Electric Aim does, basically.
Tell you what, Electric, you were through to the next round, although you're still sort of lulled in losers bracket. It's just one of the most greatest performances of teamwork we've seen so far from today's broadcast. I have to ask about your player profile. Were you playing last year in Modern Warfare 3? You're a rookie this season. We'd love to sort of get to know Electric Aim on at least a more personal level, and just, you know, what you think of Black Ops 6 so far. So
Black Ops 6 is a pretty fun game. I think the maps could be a little better, but the guns are fun to use. And as far as like competing, yeah, I'm definitely competing this year. I'm not a rookie, actually. I'm a vet. I competed back in Black Ops 4 when I first turned 18. I'm 24 now.
Big respect. Great game.
I think my best year was MW19. I had a 4th place finish at a major. And yeah, other than that, I I kind of quit when COVID was a thing. I just really didn't have the passion to play online all the time. But now that LANs are back, my old teammates, they're ready to run it back. We're ready to come back and, shake some stuff up because we think we're better than a lot of people that are playing right now, to be honest.
Man, you guys have had such a great showing all the way through this. It's great to hear that you're feeling good about the future of your competition in this game. How about this tournament? Do you have ideas that you're still holding in the back, things that you want to pull out later? Do you know where the improvements maybe need to come out to go all the way?
I think for me, personally, it was just a confidence thing. I was a little shook running the sub. I was getting fried. They pulled me to the side, my teammates. They said, listen, just be electric game. Just use the AR. Just get kills. Just do what you do best. And the rest of this tournament, I'm going to be doing that. So that's what you guys can look out for.
All right, I'm excited for it.
Electric, let's follow up from that last question. Obviously, in Black Ops 4, you got forfeit a major. What's your goals for Black Ops 6?
I'm trying to win a major this year. I want to compete and I want to win something. I think that's the only thing that drives me right now. Is like back then I played for fun, went to the events, it was cool and all that, but as I got older, I realized that everyone tells me I'm God-gift talent. I'm super good at the game, and I have nothing to prove for it, so I want something to prove for it. I want to be the best.
Thank you very much. Electric, pleasure for your time. Wonderful win and lots of big ambitions for you. Good luck to you, and have a great event, and we'll see you at least in the Challengers pipeline, my good sir.
Thank you.
And with that, let's take a quick look at the bracket where we are at the end of our day one. Like we said, this was the last set of matches that we have on the stream. And there you go. There is your finals day, ready and waiting. I know these guys are chomping at the bit, itching with that trigger finger to get going, but they've got one more night of sleep, one more night of prep before they can do that.
Very nice showing that we see Team Acrylic currently undefeated in the upper bracket. Because listen, the winners quarterfinals and that winners final and the winners semi-final, when we actually progress through the upper bracket, Acrylic will be the favourites. But Speedy White Men, of course, have sort of stuck true to their nature. They'll be seeing them there as well. Thrive and Rally Esports in the lower portion to at least encapsulate one team, sending it through to a top 3 finish, regardless of that grand final awaiting on tomorrow. But the lower bracket, I feel like, as well, presents some really cool opportunities for teams to do well. As we saw just there, Crown Crusaders had a bit of a rough time, admit their mistakes, but they now are thriving. 2 consecutive wins. They're going to be against a very familiar face to see on broadcast, Whole Family Esports. And at least now, again, we might have a chance to see Cabal, Team Reos, and Unreal Nightmare progress through as they wait for an opponent.
It's very interesting to see the way this bracket has panned out. A lot of consistency, a lot of awareness from the seeding perspective of where people are expected to end up. You're not seeing a lot of those wild card Cinderella runs. And I think that really speaks to the consistency of the players that we have. If you look at on the losers side, most of these players who are sitting in losers round 3 are teams that made it up to the winners round 2, the winners quarterfinals, as opposed to those early upsets.
Maybe the upsets could also tell quite an interesting tale tomorrow, where again, teams now have a night's rest to think over everything today. And if they're lucky, they might get some VOD review in, but it's very unlikely at an event unless someone's got a super powerful laptop. So it really has to be, photographic memory recall and kind of identifying some key areas that need to be improved for tomorrow.
I can see it now. The players, their eyes closed, the hands twitching as if they're on the mouse, performing those flicks, getting themselves ready as they discuss the various sight lines that they have. But hey, that's for tomorrow. And I think that's going to be about it for us as well. Connie, I've got to say, dude, it has been an absolute pleasure to work with you. And for those of you who are watching online, ! Vote if you liked seeing what you saw today and you want to see more of it tomorrow. We'd certainly love to. Some fantastic people were already through. I've got to give a shout out to my man Skiff up there. He did a great job, a good friend of mine. But everybody on this roster did a fantastic job. So vote for who you like. You've got a very short window before that voting closes, so do it now before you forget.
I mean, for me personally as well, to Red Roke, Nask, Colorblind, Korn, and Matt, the 6 CoD boys, I hope we taught our pairs well, and I really think as well we gave them a great experience today and a sort of nice introduction to our game and why we love it so much. That's all that matters at the end of this, and just, as teachers, we've done a great job today. It really was impressive to watch everyone, and at least, cast their heart off, if you will.
And shout out to my man Connie as well, working with me here. Dude has been sending me information all week. We had a nice little watch party today while we were explaining some stuff, because I come in from, the fighting game side of things. This is pretty new to me. So to have someone of Connie's depth who's able to carry me through this bracket, make it easy with those alley-oops on the calls to help bring an exciting tournament to y'all. So one more time, exclamation point vote if you enjoyed it. But that's going to be about it for us. Thank you so much for watching. Definitely tune back in tomorrow for finals day of the Game Arena Black Ops 6 LAN launch tournament.